Greetings, everyone. This is Rock and Roll Spot Connection with the weekly comic book roundup. We've covered this week's smattering of Marvel books as well as some of this week's DC books, and now it's on to this week's Batman books, like Batman centric. Even though we already covered Batman Superman World's Finest, but yeah. Anyways, to get us started, we've got Catwoman number 42. Where we left off, a group of assassins sent by the Hasegawa by Aiko Hasegawa had infiltrated Catwoman's apartment and were about to kill Don Tomasi's son, who was crashing on Catwoman's couch. We start off with a flashback. Holly returns to her and Selina's place when they were quite younger. Holly just finished a shift at the club and decided she truly hated the creeps at the club, explaining that and telling the guy that apparently a guy had to be told that he couldn't touch her, and so he reached into Holly's garter and took back the five he put it there, like he wasn't going to touch me, and she owed him change. And Selina offers to burn the guy's place down, and she would do that for Holly or anyone like Holly. In the present, Selina's dealing with the assassins who broke into her apartment and taking care of them quite well. Though one of them, the explanation is made that Don Tommaso's son is defecting, but they claim to be bringing a message from Aiko. Explaining that the five families of Gotham had not yet killed Selina because they fear retribution from the Bat. Black Mask claims he can mitigate that threat so long as, Selina's dead. And he doesn't have to waste resources bothering with her. If he can convince the majority, the blood hunt is on and she'll be dead by the next morning. But Selina explains that she's about to solve a problem for Sullivan, so that's one vote in her favor. She also figures Aiko to be a second, but explains that no, Aiko cannot do that. But she does have an alternative. If Selina can get Sullivan and one other to flip, Aiko will vote to break the tie, but she cannot risk being so unpopular among her fellow leaders. As the assassins leave, however, Catwoman notes that she can recognize Aiko's voice. Turns out that the problem being solved for Sullivan is that he has no fighters. So, Onyx has agreed to be a fighter for him. So that's only downside is now that Selina owes Onyx a favor. But Selena explains to the younger Tommaso that you know she just needs to get a look at Black Mask's appointment. Basically, she needs to get a look at Black Mask's appointment book. After all, stuff like that isn't he doesn't make appointments for himself. Someone else does it. Some girl. So she makes her way into a building owned by Roman Sionis with a positive pregnancy test and manages to swipe a key card. Gets the information she needs and makes her way out. That night, she finds Valmont, who was apparently masquerading as a waiter at the coffee shop when she was at earlier. But she's got a task for him. Making a forgery of something. And so that night, while Black Mask is getting his teeth cleaned, Selena steals something from the office of the dentist. At Capolo's Ristorante, heads of the five families meet. They vote on everything, and the plan is to vote on things. Sullivan votes against killing her. Tommaso is in favor. Hasegawa insists on withholding her vote until everyone else does. However, Black Mask isn't having it. It decides, you know what, hell with it, we're gonna do it. We're gonna order the kill. But he's informed that he has a sniper with eyes on her, so that Catwoman's nearby. You'll notice though, it's kind of hot in there. The sniper explains that he's going to send Black Mask something he should see. It's a cell phone picture through the scope of his rifle of Catwoman wearing Black Mask's, mask. But Selena has managed to hack the comms so that Dario helped her into the frequency. And she asks if it's hot in that mask of his. It's a nearly perfect forgery. She had the best in the world make it, but they can't use the real thing. Black wood from his father's coffin. Materials aren't quite as quality. You sacrifice that when you need something quickly. Then she adds that she's wearing the real thing right now, and it smells putrid. And that if a shot is fired at her, she'll make sure it hits right there and destroys the mask once and for all. But Black Mask and some of Don Tommaso's men go to the docks, start some shit while Black Mask has a replacement mask on, and Catwoman tosses the mask up, but there's an explosive in it, which she blows the mask. The Yakuza agree that things are done in a certain manner in Gotham, and, Black Mask is now out of the picture. Later, the issue wraps up at the kitty cat house. Selina goes to talk and see what, the notes that the other girls have left on Christie's locker. The dancer who was murdered earlier in the run. And that is where the issue ends. I think this basically wraps up the first arc of Tini Howard's run on Catwoman. I gotta say, I'm really liking it. There's an edge that I feel Tini Howard brings to Selina that I really like. So I'm looking forward to seeing how the rest of the series, how the rest of her run pans out. Which brings us to our next book, Nightwing, number 91. Where we left off in Nightwing, Blockbuster had ordered a hit on Dick Grayson's apartment building. One of Dick's best friends, Wally West, the Flash, managed to save him, and in fact got him out of Gotham or out of Bloodhaven for a little while. But it turns out that there was ample intelligence to act on, so a kidnapping attempt was made on Barbara Gordon. Wally and Dick saved her and took her place in the van. When they got to where they were going, where the van was heading, it turned out that the person in charge of the kidnapping attempts was none other than KG Beast, the assassin who nearly killed Dick Grayson and in fact gave him severe amnesia for a while, which kind of took him away from everyone he cared about. Something that Wally intends to act upon. So Dick and Wally go after KG Beast and his crew, take him down, and apparently there's a bomb in town, and KG Beast just activated it. They're able to figure out that it's at the library. Bomb's disabled, and Dick uses KGB's phone's facial recognition to unlock it, and has Wally take the phone to Oracle so they can figure out who hired him. But apparently it's Dick gets a text from his sister, and it's Agente Funaberi, who Barbara is shocked to hear of and states they're a myth. But all the communications about this particular job seem to come from a cell tower in the middle of the Amazon. So Dick and Wally go to the Amazon. Not the Amazon. My bad. Costa Rica. But they deal with the henchmen of L'Agente Funaberi. But as they try to escape, Wally tries to run to stop her, but there's a force field that blocks him. It's designed to block things that move quickly. And so Dick fights L'Agente Funaberi. Apparently she's good. Nothing flashy, no lunges for appearance or flair. Every strike is designed to hurt, incapacitate, damage, and kill. And she's not afraid to fight dirty. Getting close with a dagger with poison on it, she tries to stab Nightwing with. However, Nightwing goes on to add that Mr. Flash and Mr. Irving built his current suit to be stab-proof, but he needed her close so that. But now we needed her close so he could knock her out. And they decide to, once they get inside her compound, take out all the guards. They use her network and basically send a whole bunch of her top assassins out after various targets. Of course, others are informed of those targets. John Kent, Starfire, Tempest, Donna Troy. Back in Bloodhaven, Lady Shiva goes to tells Blockbuster what's happened. Agente Funebre has been discovered and apprehended. Over 20 top assassins are in custody. One found dead with his heart removed. Dick Grayson is protected from on high, and no one will touch the job. As she leaves, she tells Blockbuster that if he wants Dick Grayson, he's going to have to do it himself. And that is where the issue ends. And it appears that Heartless got one of the assassins. But yeah, I keep saying every month I say it, I'm loving Tom Taylor's Nightwing run. It just gets better and better. But anyway, moving on to our next book, we've got Robins number 6, wrapping up the Robins miniseries. Where we left off, Batman had managed to figure out what was going on, or at least thought he did, going after an old enemy, the escape artist, but in reality, Jenny Wren, who had Tim Drake held prisoner, who had kidnapped Tim Drake and had managed to get him covered in basically VR, make him into a VR's version of the escape artist, while the other Robins were figuring out what to do, and they had unlocked something within the VR simulation, Gauntlet Zero. So we started Batman reminiscing about the escape artist, as the Robins decide to claim Gauntlet Zero. In Batman reminiscing about the escape artist, he realizes he needed an ally, which is where Anita Jean came in. But she had been met by the escape artist had met her, and she had talent, and he took advantage of that talent. But he wasn't really good at forming real human connection, and so Batman was able to turn Anita into his inside man. Took down the escape artist, but he said that if he went to jail, he told Batman he went to jail. He exposed Batman's identity, which led to Anita shooting him. Batman raged at her. She used the weapon of the enemy and killed in cold blood, and seemingly took her own life shortly thereafter. But a pre-recorded hologram of Tim explains it, gets the rest of the Robins up to speed. Batman shows up, sadly unable to truly prepare for this. Goes after some of the escape artist's usual things, and then attacks the escape artist himself when some of the monsters try to stop him. The escape artist's creations are revealed to actually have been the other Robins. Jenny shows up going after Red Hood and Spoiler. And Dick is the one that manages to snap Batman out of it. So it tells him it's not in the files about how he chose the name Robin. And that's able to get Bruce out of everything. Batman tells Jenny he messed up. She didn't fail Gauntlet Zero. He did. But fortune sacrifices herself again. Jason stops her and headbutts her into unconsciousness. At Blackgate, one of the Anarchy cultists is released due to new evidence. Bruce shows up at Dick Grayson's apartment with the Robins, and Jason pulls him aside and says that, in a way, part of him says that the whole mission for all of them, it was Gauntlet 6. But Bruce walks away from Jason, and outside, a robin sings on a lamppost. And that is where the series comes to its close. I really like this series. It was fun. The idea of there having been a secret first not Robin, I guess, would be a good way to put it. I think that's really cool. I hope that the idea gets kind of explored more in future Bat books. It does appear that she's going to be that Jenny Wren is going to be sticking around, so in Arkham. So, moving on to our next book, we've got Batman the Knight, number 4. Where we left off, after meeting Henry Ducard, Bruce Wayne got a list of the best there is in case he ever needed their help or bring them in. Well, Ducard had the list for those reasons. But for Bruce, it's a list of people to train under. And so we begin at Paektu Mountain in North Korea. Bruce is trying to get into a dojo and constantly getting the shit kicked out of him. One day he's finally allowed in. And the dojo's master, Master Krigi, explains that there's one focus in his dojo, the work. Training starts the next day. But Bruce has other things, and he somewhat befriends another student. We learn that Master Kree, a student of his, killed the Japan's Minister of Justice. The authorities blame Kree for it, among other crimes linked to his school's graduates. And so that's why he's teaching on a mountain that's on the border of China and North Korea. But Bruce goes through the training, sometimes forging what appears to be a friendship with his fellow student. One day, 5 new students have arrived. No having to get beat up to finally be accepted, just thrown in. One of them is a bit more brutal than normal with Bruce, and Kree stops him. When Bruce asks, who the new students are, and why were they welcomed with open arms, Bruce is sent to his quarters. The next day, Master Kree used to teach them the lethal vibrating palm technique. Bruce leaves, opting to just, well, leave. Because he's not going to, he doesn't mean to kill. Master Tree follows him out, though, and states that he knows who Bruce actually is. Maybe with the knowledge he's learned from Mrs. Karigi, maybe he will stop Mrs. Karigi. But it's explained that the new students are assassins in training sent to Karigi by a benefactor. Karigi shepherds them, and he's left alone to do what he does best. As Bruce leaves, however, those assassins in training catch up to him and go after him, but his former fellow student shows up, and the two of them work together and stop the assassins in training and continue on. But it seems to be subtly. It does seem like a hint has dropped that that Bruce's new friend may have actually been the one that sent the assassins after Bruce. As they continue, as they make their way from Master Karigi's dojang. That is where the issue ends. I'm really liking Batman the Knight. It's a nice new take on. I don't want to call it. It's on pre-year one Bruce Wayne, and I'm looking. It's a book that honestly I do look forward to reading every month. So yeah, Chip Zdarsky is great on Batman. Just as, in fact, Zdarsky's equally good with apparently Daredevil, as evidenced with Devil's Reign and the Daredevil Woman Without Fear miniseries. In fact, when the Daredevil book starts back up after Devil's Reign Omega, it's a good chance we'll be picking that up on the regular too. So, anyway, moving on to our last book for the week, we've got Catwoman: Lonely City, number 3. Where we left off, Catwoman was putting in her job to break into the Batcave, to figure out what Project Orpheus was. And she'd been enlisting help from various former Confederates of hers: Killer Croc, the Riddler, Poison Ivy, and Barbara Gordon. Councilwoman and mayoral candidate Barbara Gordon. So, apparently 10 years when Catwoman was arrested, she presumably went to Blackgate. She started teaching one of her fellow inmates how to fight, and that fellow inmate was killed and left, and her body left in a cell. But Catwoman's getting medical assistance from Leslie Tompkins. Apparently, good timing, because Tompkins was about to head to take a vacation to Paris, but she didn't want to end up like Alfred, full remission and then only die in his sleep. But Catwoman's also doing some training with the Riddler's daughter. Killer Croc getting back in shape. Ivy's being Ivy. But they get into Arkham Asylum. Some of them get into Arkham Asylum to get a sample of Clayface, but masquerading as landscapers. They then utilize the subway to get out. However, it's a trap. There are bat cops waiting for them in the subway, and so Croc tries to make a hole for them, but he ends up getting shot. The wall collapses on top of him, and he asks Selina to let him die like a man. and Selena shoots him. Mayor Dent is cracking down on unrest within the city, a curfew, tactical officers and support vehicles stationed in strategic zones to ensure safety. Um, Awake is held at the bar for Croc, and afterwards, Selena kisses Eddie, and they go back. They go back to her place to spend the night, but afterwards, kind of discussing the elements of the job, mainly what Orpheus means to him. But then it clicks with them. The answer to their prayers. And so, Ivy, Edward, and Selena go to the Gotham Museum to snag a burial mask. It's explained that it caused a big stir when it was found because it looked brand new, almost like fake, but the carbonating checked out, so everybody moved on. But then he figured out what it was. While they're working the job, Eddie states that it's kind of fun. Just the three of them. He's half expecting a Robin to show up. Like, holy history buffs, Batman! With Ivy adding, "You'll soon find my wounds are as deadly as they are beautiful." But, well, Catwoman's had enough of memory lane. But they take the mask, but it's attached to the podium. So Ivy sends some vines to help steady the mask, so they're able to take the mask and replace it with a cat mask. But they're taking it to Sir Jason Blood. And Eddie, a man of your means, who needs another Mesopotamian burial mask, right? And, well, Blood explains he has 6. However, Eddie's got a riddle for him. What is a mask, not a mask? And he smashes the burial mask, revealing the helm of Naboo within. And whatever infatuation Selena may have briefly had with Eddie is pretty much replaced with infatuation for Jason Blood. A protest outside the Monarch Theater of cat mask protesters, and Barbara Gordon turns ugly. The Riddler and Eddie and Selena leave, and yeah, Bat cops chase her. She ends up running into the protest, and things go sideways. The Monarch is damaged. Charges are dropped. A rather violent arrest video of Barbara goes viral, leading to her the charges being dropped against her. That the commissioner, well, he's not too fond of. He doesn't. He doesn't have an issue with throwing Nigma under the bus, or with throwing Dent under the bus. And Nigma steals a coffee cup that he throws in the trash. But Selena tells him that Nigma and his daughter are out for their safety. Meanwhile, Winston, explains to her that she may have been planning to do the job on election night, but the clay's breaking down. It's got to be done tomorrow. But Phase 2 of the stadium is being put on hold. This enrages Harvey to no end. But why not wait till after the election to say that? But he's still trying to remain in control. We also have a flashback to Fool's Night. Robin takes down Batman, Robin, and Catwoman taking down the Royal Flush Gang. And Selina asks Batman if he ever thinks about his life after, and he says that after the dream, he can't be distracted by it. But he takes her hand and says that when he does let himself dream in that life, he's with her. Before they can kiss, however, they're interrupted by Nightwing. A spike in internet chatter on Joker, Fool, and related terms, and God was present busy on New Year's Eve, the billboards got hacked. Also, Commissioner Gordon's not picking up. Something's wrong. The clay is used to make a mask of the Commissioner, which Jason Blood puts on, relieving the Bat cops guarding Wayne Manor. The others show up. The two, however, one of them something feels off, so he calls it in. They're trying to, but Ivy, Catwoman, and Jason Blood are trying to find the Batmobile entrance to the cave, and they finally do, but it's dark in there. And so Catwoman suggests that maybe Jason Blood should summon the demon, which ends up turning him into nothing more than a charred skeleton. But then the demon himself does arrive, rhyming, saying, "Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. Such is the fate of my jailer, Jason Blood. Shall it be thine as well?" Not rhyming. That is where the issue ends. I'm enjoying it. This is probably one of the more interesting post-Batman Gotham stories I've read in a while. So I'm digging it. I'm digging it. Anyway, that's going to do it for this week. As always, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Links to my Facebook, Twitter, Patreon, and PayPal can be found in the description box down below. This is Rock and Roll Spock signing off, saying, live long and rock hard.